What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I want to let you guys know and show you guys, because you guys asked me this question a lot, Eddie, how do you winterize your stuff? Or in this situation, desert situation, how do you summarize your stuff? What do you do? You know, somebody asked me, Eddie, every time I go to the desert and you know the season ends, you know, because summertime, for you guys that watch this and ask me, Eddie, what do you mean season? Well, in the summer we cannot go to the desert. You can, but it's very, very hot. It's about 110, 115 out there. So it's very, very brutal, especially to go, you know, take your Can-Am or dirt bike, quad, putting all that gear on. It's extremely hot and you sweat your butt off. So that's why in the summertime we don't go out just because it's too hot. Summer, as you guys know and seen some of my videos, we go out to the river. River season starts because, well, I mean, what else you can do when it's 115 outside besides go on your boat and go in the water? But a lot of you guys ask me, Eddie, you know, when I'm done with my generators, what do I do? Because come desert season, they don't start anymore. Well, they're not going to start because, and especially carbureted stuff. Carbureted stuff is the worst. And I don't know if you guys saw some of my Instagram posts. Don't forget also, guys, go follow my Instagram. I'll put my link right here down in the description. But go follow my Instagram. I show you and talk about all that stuff. And also, I will show you what I put in my generators and cars and what I do to keep them, you know, from just not starting come summer or come winter. Same goes, you know, for my boat. I treat it the same way as I do the Can-Am, all of the generators that I got over here. You guys know I don't know if I told you guys, but I don't use the Honda 2000 no more. I use this thing, Westinghouse. And this Westinghouse is pretty, I gotta admit, it's pretty badass. It was on sale. I bought it for like $700 and I think $20, but it is a 4500. It has a true 30 amp plug right here on it, and this thing pulls 36 amps. So it runs my air conditioning. It pretty much runs everything in my toy hauler. It also has 110, and it also has 20 amp right there. And it is a push button start. Also has a remote control. Lets you know your fuel level, your load, voltage, amps you're pulling. It gives you a lot of info. And you know, same thing with this, guys, because I'm not gonna pretty much use this thing now anymore because desert season is almost over. I'll probably use that thing one more time. So in San Diego, when Thunderbolt races start, I take the toy hauler and we head out to the Thunderbolt races for a week and go watch them. So in that situation, I will use that generator. But what are we gonna do now that desert season is almost over? What do you do with the Can-Am? What do you do with the generators? So guys, what I like to do with the generators, especially these because they are carbureted, couple things. First of all, I like to put some fresh fuel in it. All the time I like to add it. As you guys know, and you've heard me talk about this stuff, this VP, the ethanol-free 4-cycle. Yes, it's ethanol-free, and this stuff is very, very clean. I'm going to do a comparison also. I'm going to put some of this fuel in a bowl. I'll put some, you know, regular fuel in a bowl. I'll put some VP Racing fuel in a bowl, and we'll see the color and how much cleaner this stuff burns, if it does burn that clean. But I've had really good luck with this stuff, and I use this stuff a lot. Now, another thing, if you guys don't want to buy that, because this stuff is pretty pricey, and you want to keep these things running and going good, you can start them once a month to get the fuel going. But if you got a bunch of old fuel that's sitting in here, I highly suggest you guys drain the fuel. That is the, you know, best thing you can do. If you can get all that old fuel out, or, you know, let this thing run, use it, let it run completely out of gas, that's the best thing also. You don't want to keep these generators, or anything for that matter. The dirt bike, perfect example. This is a carburetor. So, I mean, because we use these, we don't use it a lot, but because it is a carburetor, and the float bowl right here, and jets, everything, they get gunked up because the fuel just gets bad and goes old. And you can tell when you start this thing, you can tell the fuel will stink. So what I like to do with this is I will turn the fuel off, and I will run this bike until it shuts off. So I know that the carburetor is empty. But also, what really, really helps, guys, and I highly, highly recommend this because I've been doing this to a lot of my stuff for years and years and years now, and I've never, ever had any carburetor problem. This Honda 2000, I don't know, it's really old. It has a bunch of hours on it. I have never, ever had a problem. This thing literally starts up first pull. I never have any issues. And what I do, it's not really a secret, but a lot of people kind of are iffy about it. I've been doing it is, so this right here is straight 100% VP 112 right here. And what I like to do is I like to put some of this, mix it with the premium to get a good burn. And it honestly, you can see when I put some of the VP in the generator, it will, and put under load, you'll see all the carbon and everything get blown out of the exhaust if there's carbon buildup. And also it cleans the carburetor. Same goes for my little XR50 over here. I put some VP in there, not a lot, just a little bit, just to clean out the carburetor, because, and literally first kick, you turn the gas on first kick, this thing starts right up. So if you guys are going to store your stuff for the summer or the winter, get that fuel out. All the fuel that's in there or on the carburetor, drain it out completely, get it out. If you don't want to drain the fuel, try to start it maybe once a month if you can. You know, if not, put some of that VP, you can put the race fuel. But you gotta be careful though, you guys with those razors and like Can-Ams like this. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot put race fuel in these cars with it being stock. So as you guys know, this thing just has a tune on it, but what you guys gotta watch out for is these also have catalytic converters. So if you put that race fuel in this car, you will burn up the cat and burn up, I believe this has a sensor before, yeah, it's also got a sensor right there. You guys see that sensor? You will burn that sensor up. So this thing is only going to be premium fuel. Do not, I repeat, guys, do not put VP race fuel in your Can-Am or in, you know, your Razor, whatever you have, especially if it is stock with a cat and a sensor and all that, because you will burn it up, you will kill that sensor, and you will have a check engine light on. Now, what if, you know, you guys have these things? Like, for an example, what am I gonna do? Well, the first thing I do is I try to run this thing out of fuel. So I knew that this thing, or we were, you know, on the last trip that you guys saw, we were pretty much, you know, I don't know. I'm not saying it's the end of the season, and I'm hoping it's not the end of the season, because I hate when desert season ends. Really, you know, it's painful. It hurts. It sucks. When the season does officially end, though, on this thing, I will ride it and hopefully get it the fuel down really, really low. Make sure, you know, the tank isn't full. I won't fill it up. I think right now there's like 2 bars showing. And I will start this thing, you know, once a month, get all the fluids going. But also, these tires will come off. The front tires will come off, and the paddles will come off, because it's not good for these things, especially the paddle, just to sit and not move. It's bad for the paddle. So I will pull these tires off, and I will stick the stock tires that came with it. These are the ones that came with the Can-Am. I mean, I never even rode on these things. I bought these and took them right off and put the paddles on. But I will put these on and then stack. You'll see the paddles stacked up right here. Now you guys ask, Eddie, what if I don't want to sit and start this thing once a month, you know? Well, you don't have to. Like I said, especially if it's not going to start, you guys see here, I just pulled this out because it is almost time. So because it's going to be sitting, and I probably won't start it maybe for a couple months, it is going to be sitting on a battery tender. You can get these anywhere. I got this one from Napa, but you can go Napa, Amazon, Home Depot. I mean, they sell these things everywhere. Some of you asked me, you know, should I get a 3 amp or 5 amp or 1.25? Go with a 1.25 or a 3 amp. I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Just, I highly suggest you guys put a battery tender on your stuff that you're not going to be starting. So this thing will have a battery tender on it. I will pull it up here, or I will put it in my other garage and stick the battery tender on it. But wherever this is going to sit, also what I like to do is I like to put this on jack stands. Now, again, I understand that's a little excessive, but I like to keep my stuff perfect and make sure everything is perfect. So what I will do with this thing is I will pull the tires off, put the stock tires on, put the tender on, and then put this thing on jack stands to take the weight off of the suspension, because I don't like the car just sitting on the suspension, and take the weight off of the spring. So what I'll do, I'll jack it up, I'll take those jack stands right there, and I will put one on that side, one on this side, and take all the weight off. I will also do it to the front. The front, you don't have to do it as much, just because the front, there's really no weight on it. All the weight is back here, the motor, you know, your clutch, everything is in the back. But if you guys can, I mean, get a tender, and I would highly suggest you start it up. Even if you start it once every 2 months, it's not a big deal. You just want to get the oil, you know, the fluids, the seals, everything going through the motor, going through, you know, its procedures, just so nothing dries up. Because, and when stuff sits, and I'm not talking a month or 2, I'm talking years. You know, that's when really stuff goes bad. You can start this thing up, you know, 4 months later, 5 months later, it'll start right up, it'll be fine. But you don't want to keep it, you know, just sitting in a trailer for 5 months and no battery tender on it, or sitting it, you know, on the paddles or on the suspension. I mean, there's people out there, I'm sure, that do that all the time. It's perfectly normal. I don't like to do it because I want to get the weight off the car, the weight off the suspension, weight off the springs, and get those tires off from just sitting there. And also, I did have a couple subscribers ask me, Eddie, how is your TIGging going? Well, guys, I gotta say, I've been, throwing a couple lines over here and trying it out, but man, for anybody that can TIG, I gotta give you props because, man, it is freaking hard to TIG. It is not easy trying to do, control this and then feed the wire and then use the pedal. It's very difficult, I will admit. I've been doing it for, I don't know, I've been playing with it a couple hours now. I threw some beads down here trying, but it's just so difficult to try to keep, the rod over here straight, in a straight line. And not only that, I didn't know you had to, sharpen these things. And then it took me forever. I couldn't figure out how to start it. I don't know you had to start it to initiate the arc. But here are some of the lines. And yeah, I mean, they're kind of ugly right now. But I don't know. I'm trying to get the hang and get the feel for, going too fast, going too slow, too much gas, not enough gas. I'm working, with just this piece right now. This piece, I plasma cut it real quick. And I noticed also TIGging, it has to be extremely, extremely clean because if it's dirty, man, it does not like it. But if you guys got any tips out there, let me know. And you guys asked me, Eddie, how come some of the tenders have, these? And you notice when I plug into the Can-Am, it's just a plug. Well, because what I do, and I mean, sometimes they come with it, is I install this onto the battery, and that way all you gotta do is plug it in so you can hang the wire off of the Can-Am. You don't gotta go worry about grabbing the battery with these because this will unplug right here, and then you will just plug this right into here because this part is already onto the battery. So when you're done, you unplug it, you just tuck this part in. That makes it a lot easier so you don't have to, look for the battery and go for these. You can hang the plug out, just plug it in, and you're done and good to go. If you guys don't want to run this, it's not a big deal. If you don't want anything hanging off the battery, it does come with these also. Just clip these to the battery, and that's it. You're done. But there you have it, guys. That's how you winterize / summarize your stuff, if you're wondering, just because I'm getting a lot of questions saying, Eddie, what do you do with your stuff when desert season is over? But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching this video. And if you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to click subscribe. Peace.
Yeah.